LA Kings. Now's the time you decide you're going to come out and score 6 goals in a game. You couldn't even score 1 half the time. Oh my God. They just drive me crazy. I guess in a good way tonight. I mean, if we're going to go out, let's go out with a bang, except I swear to God, if the Predators lose the rest of their games this season, they lost a couple of days ago, and they lost tonight, and we won all of our games, and the only, it's that game against Arizona that knocks us out, I'm just going to cry. I know it's not just the game against Arizona. There were plenty of factors I'll get into later, but for now, let's just celebrate because the Kings beat the Oilers, and that is exciting on many, many levels. They have not done that very much this season. We have lost to them 3 times out of the... I don't know if it's 4 or 5. I know we played one of the teams in our division only 4 times. But either way, it was a valiant effort. Starting at the second period. The first period was bad. I mean, really bad. 33 seconds into it, Kopitar takes a double minor for high sticking, and Milan Lucic scores with 2 seconds left in the first minor. Just so many things about that sentence are wrong. It makes my head hurt. Kopi taking a penalty, 33 seconds into the game. That's the first thing we do is take a penalty. It's a double minor, and seriously, you couldn't have waited 3 seconds to score so we don't have the rest of that second. Never mind, so that was bad. And the Kings continue to play it like, whose line is it anywhere, where they knew that everything's made up and the points don't matter. It was incredibly clear coming out in the first period that the Kings did not have a single thing to lose, did not care, couldn't even be bothered to play the game. So that was disappointing, especially since Brodzinski was doing his best to get his first NHL point. Man, that kid has a quick release. If not for the post, the game probably could have gone differently in the first period, but the best chance the Kings had was that Brodzinski shot. And the most disappointing thing is that they actually did have incredible grade A chances, and they just weren't completing them in that typical LA Kings fashion that they do so often. So it wasn't like they were lazy. They just weren't finishing chances. And then it got down to defense, and they were a little bit lazy. So instead of being tied, they ended up down 2-0 pretty easily. At one end, the Kings were getting the best shot they probably would have had all game, where Talbot is behind the net, mishandles the puck, shouldn't stick handle any more than Quick should. The puck is literally like a foot from the blue line, from the blue paint. Not in the blue paint. It was like at the top of the circle there, and there's nobody in the net, and the Kings can't get to it. And when they do, they get kind of like, when Talbot's still out of position, they manage to get to it and shoot it, and they still can't do that. So that was disappointing, because then right down the other end, Quick can't stick handle in the way that drives me freaking nuts. And they sure enough score when he's just a little bit out of position, and it goes right underneath his legs, and it's 2-0, and you're just like, oh God, I still have to sit through like 2.5 more periods of this game. Awesome. Where is my wine? Yeah, so first period, luckily to make it out of there 2-0. Should have made it out of there like 3-2 if they could finish their chances. But as it was, that didn't happen, and then a completely different team came out for the second period. I'm not kidding. I don't know what happened in the locker room, but the Kings actually decided that they wanted to end this season with a little bit of dignity. And we begin with a beautiful goal from technically Nick Shore, who I don't want to discredit, because Shore was, I believe, top star of the evening and deserved it. He had a heck of a game. Where the heck's that been all season? But they had Shore and Brown and Brodzinski on a line together, and it was magic. Absolute magic. So the play starts when Brown gains the zone, can't manage to keep the puck. He is kind of pushed over, falls over, knocked over, whatever. Not penalty-wise, but he's on his ass. But that gets the puck to Brodzinski, who makes a beautiful shot, and Shore just manages to tip it in. I personally think it's going in anyway, but the goal is credited to Shore. Brodzinski gets his first NHL point, and what's most exciting about that is it is not his only point of the evening. He gets his first multi-point game, and everybody claps and applauds because we love seeing the new kids doing well. So that's goal number 1. 2-1, looking pretty good. We get 2 power plays in a row in which absolutely nothing happens, and you're like, well, I guess that's the only goal that we're gonna luck into this game. Oh, wait, no, never mind. Dustin Brown is gonna get his first goal of the evening on a pass from Nick Shore, which, oh my God, that pass was stunning. Net front presence. Dustin Brown has been doing his job so well as of late, camping out by the net, and if the puck manages to get to him like it did tonight, he takes the shot, and it was beautiful. So suddenly the Kings are tied. Oh my gosh, this is exciting. Part of me kind of wanted them to lose, because then that way the Oilers would be top of the division and the Sharks and the Ducks would have to battle out at first round, and I wouldn't have to cry if both of them made it out of the first round. But pride in my team definitely won out. We got a third goal. What? Oh my God, 3 goals, guys. This is like unheard of. Brodzinski gets his second NHL point, and Dowd gets his first goal in quite some time, and it's just basically scramble at the front of the net, and it finally pays off for the Kings, and it's 3-2, and suddenly you're like, what is happening? Oh my God. Because immediately after the second goal, the Kings did that thing where they're like, oh my God, you're gonna give up that point again, aren't you? Yeah, no, actually they did it immediately after the third goal, before I could even tweet about, hey, you guys, the Kings, seriously not kidding, down 2-0, suddenly up 3-2, it was 3-3, and Doughty's gonna want that one back. Chose to try and tie up the stick instead of diving, and it was not the best choice. To the Oilers' credit, they were much faster than us, and that's why they got down, and that's how they ended up beating Quick. So, yeah, that sucked. So we go into the third period, 3-3, and you're like, well, after everything that's happened in the second period, what can the third period bring us? Well, it started with a Trevor Lewis goal. Trevor Lewis, guys! I have such love in my heart for Trevor Lewis. He gets this one pretty early into the third period, and things are going good. It's 4-3, and you're like, oh my God, what? The Kings are doing well? Okay, great. We might actually be able to pull this off, and it's looking like a pretty good contest actually for the rest of the period. And suddenly it's 5-3. And we don't really know what to do with ourselves at this point, because it's Tanner Pearson doing what I have wanted Tanner Pearson to do all season, and probably what his agent has been wanting him to do all season, considering he is in a contract season. Oh, that snipe. Tanner Pearson, you snipe like very few people can do on this team, including Jeff Carter, who back in the first period had a shorthanded bid 2-on-1 with Nick Shore, and instead of choosing to snipe, chooses to pass to Nick Shore. And if that doesn't tell you everything you need to know about the first period, then yeah, like I said, it was rough. But we're in the third period. Tanner Pearson sniped. It is 5-3, and there's about 15 minutes left, or 10. There's just enough time left to be able to screw it all up, which they started to do with about 6 minutes left in the third period. Suddenly it's 5-4, and it looks like it may have been tipped in off of a high stick. Turns out, unfortunately, the Oiler didn't actually touch it, and so it's Nurse's goal, and it's 5-4, and 6 minutes and 12 seconds is really just enough time to screw that up, especially since at about the 3-minute mark remaining, oh man, is there a scramble by Quick. I mean, it was down the other end and I couldn't see entirely clearly, but there was a lot of bodies at the front of that net. I don't know. It looked really, really, really scary, and the Oilers definitely wanted those 2 points tonight. Yeah, they're in the playoffs, but they want home ice, and it's been a while for them. So anyway, it's getting a little iffy. However, as soon as they pull the goalie, there's a neutral zone turnover created by Drew Doughty, who unassisted actually shot accurately at the empty net. So many things about that. I mean, Drew can't shoot accurately to save his life, and the Kings haven't got an empty net goal in forever because they always shoot wide. 6-4 with 2 minutes left. So much easier to see that they're going to win the game. There was even Chris Sutter dance cam. Chris is back. I love that kid. I'm going to miss him when we fire Sutter. But for tonight, let's just be excited that the Kings, A, won a game. That doesn't mean anything. A, won a game. And B, scored 6 goals and an empty net. Hope is alive. See, they can do good stuff, guys. Just a little too late, yeah.